Whoa, why does it look so fucked up? What the fuck? Why? What the freak? Nice. Nope, can't do that. Okay, let's figure this out. Why is the camera not working? It's so AIDS. Huh? What the freak? Uh-oh, let's fix this. It's still broken. Broken, broken, broken. Gone, gone, gone. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, bang. Okay, that's good. That is good. Now, let us see this. Why is this camera not working now? That is irritating. Huh. So sad. Why is it not? Okay, what if we just delete this and add a new one? This is stupid. Okay, why is this messing with me today? Why is things messing with me today? Okay. I don't know. Are there other things using this camera? I don't think so. All right, well, we're running out of time, so I guess unlucky we're not going to do it on the TikToks. I don't know why TikTok is not allowing me to show my camera, which is a tilter. It's a tilter. Because it should be here. I don't get it. Honestly, it's the small things in life. Like, does your camera work today? That is the little things. I wonder if it's a Logitech thing. Let's see. After this, I'm gonna start. But let's see if it works. Oh. Okay. Cool. Let's fix this again and let's start, shall we? I am kind of sad about fixing the camera, but it be what it be. Oh, fixed it. Nice. All right. Let's do this. Let's do this. Unlucky. There is no TikTok today. It's fine. No TikTok today. It's fine. We'll figure it out. All right, well, oh, my hair looks crazy. What's good, gamers? What's good? My name is Dr. Ryan Sprouse, Psych Sensei. Welcome to the stream, baby. What's good, Dr. Jeebs? We are going to continue this mindfulness kick, where you're talking a little bit about mindfulness and does gaming actually make you more mindful? Excited to see what's up. But as always, I hope you guys are doing well. Happy Friday. Yeah. Hope everything is chill. Hope you're chill too. Hope you have good fun plans for the weekend. But if you're here with me, let's kick it off, shall we? All right. Okay, so this article, oh my gosh, am I in the right place now? Nope. Let's send a copy to here. What's poppin', Jeebs? What's poppin', baby? Actually, what's poppin' is I need water. All right. Making some lunch real quick. I got you. I got you. I just ate some lunch real quick. That's why I am a little bit late. But we here. All right. So. Nope, I don't want that. I don't want that. Where's my pointer? All right, today's. Got it. Get away. Get away. All right, today's article is called "Does Video Game Playing Stimulate Mindfulness?" And this one comes out from Diaz Chica, Tapia Frade, and Fernandez. This comes, I believe, in Spain. This is a recent article, 2025. In Poland. From Poland. Dang. Okay. From Poland. And let us kick us off, shall we? All right. The video game industry is a booming sector. Taking the Spanish case as a reference, nearly 40% of the population plays video games and spends more than 7 hours per week on this activity. Although the most common users are teenagers and young adults, more and more children and older adults are playing. I mean, honestly, do you just get older because you stop playing? You know what I mean? Do we just age because we stop playing? I don't know. Also, I think there's just more accessibility for games, like on your phone. There's like so many things you can play on your phone. All right. Given their prominence, it is understandable that there is considerable research on video game effects. Among other psychosocial aspects, they favor mental flexibility, attention, emotional regulation, socialization, and well-being. I agree with these. I agree with this one, this one, this. Maybe not that one, but there's definitely some of that in there if you want to be effective at video games, for sure, for sure. Uh, and well-being, sure. Again, the thing is like, I'm sure you get these benefits passively, but I mean, if you're using games to do it more specifically, I'm sure you can get more benefits, you know? Okay, this thing working? Okay, now this is working. Interesting. Okay, now let's try this. I wonder if this is working. This is the only thing I'm thinking about. Let's see. Oh, the camera works. Now, it's the little things in life, I swear to God. Can I make this bigger? Ah, we got it now. We got it now, baby. All right, let's try this. Got it now. Okay, we did it. Holy shit. Okay, nice. All right. We're now on the TikToks, so we'll see how this goes too. All right, friends. There's currently There's currently much research on the health benefits of mindfulness, and because both in video games and in mindfulness, attention is essential. Specific video games have also been developed for the study of mindfulness, for its stimulation. However, studies addressing the potential of commercial video games to induce mindfulness are really scarce, despite the fact that this technique can also be conceived as a trait to be measured. A mindful inducing video game sounds really interesting. Like, I really wonder what that would be all about. Like, okay, so like mindfulness is a state of being, and the state of being of mindfulness helps you to do something. So I'm really curious if they say like there's mindfulness based video games, so they get you into the state of being mindful or present to do what? Just be mindful and present. So maybe you would be like a mindfulness trainer versus like a, all right, we're gonna get to the state and then perform. You know what I mean? All right. Video game consumption in Spain. I think I am, right? I'm curious what games. Maybe like Lost Skies. Well, I can check that for you, my guy. Let's see. This one. Plasenko Pat 2019. Okay, let's see. Pat, here you go. Mindfulness video game improves connectivity of the frontal parietal attention network in adolescence. Dang it. Now I'm gonna have to do some research for you, my guy. Oh, Ringali, what's up, baby? What am I doing on TikTok? Dude, I'm working, bro. I'm working. How you been doing, brother? I've been sending you well wishes. Sending you well wishes. Alright, I'm not gonna lie, Jeeps, I'm gonna look at that later. I don't know what game that is, but we can do more work there. Ringali, though, dude, how you been? Goes wild. Nice shirt. Probably one of the hundreds you have. Yes, I do. This is my brand, bro. Gotta have more shirts. And actually, this is a new addition to the family. You know? A new addition. Where you at, brother? Bro, why would I forget you, my boy? Why would I forget you? Of course I remember you. We had a nice steak dinner. Remember? We had a nice steak dinner in your hometown. Bucharest, you back? I'm back in Cali, my guy. I'm back in Cali. Are you still playing for FlyQuest? You had a sick run the other day, or the other tournament I saw. My opper. And by the way, I saw that your op got nerfed. That sucks. That's so funny, bro. It's funny to see you here. Oh, I guess you could what's your face me. Not anymore. No, waiting for some others after major. Let's go, man. That's awesome. Well, best of luck to you. You can't send me a message on Discord, but you can send me a message on WhatsApp. What's your main platform for streaming? Well, right now, brother, I'm streaming on Twitch. I'm streaming on YouTube and TikTok. I'm just trying them out. Usually I just stream on Twitch. And it's just me and Jeeps hanging out, talking stories about psychology and shit. But this stream is for all of y'all. So like I said, if there's other things that you guys want to talk about or other things that are more important or just want to say hi and distract me, that's what I'm all about. You know, I'm here for the people. I'm here for the people. Brother, it's like late there for you. It's like super late, I think. I feel like we're on like opposite sides of the earth. But dude, holy shit. The Regali, man. He's back. He's back. It's good seeing you, by the way, my friend. So, message me. Continue. I'll be talking. Message me or send me a message on WhatsApp. How's in California? It's hot as fuck right now, dude. It's like 90 degrees. It's like 90 degrees and super hot for some freaking reason. I have no idea. And, bro, I just came back from the vet. My dog freaking cost me like $1,500. No, $1,700 today for a chest x-ray, blood work, and for them to touch his poop to like test some stuff. And then later on, he's got to like get his teeth cleaned. Bro, that's going to be another $1,700. Bang, 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 bang. Jesus. This dog's going to cost me like 300 or no, 14, like $4,000. I've been there in LA last summer. Wish I could move there. Careful what you wish for. Right now it's not a very good time to be an American. Not a great time, you know? Not a great time. But dude, come visit. I attempted to go to Dallas for last major. That shit would look fun. Lost Guys is a really pretty and chill survival / adventure game. Imagine a chiller, easier, watered down version of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Ooh, that seems fun. That seems fun. Like, I know they make games for like people with ADHD to kind of reduce their ADHD symptomology, but I know it's FDA approved. I've never played it myself. I'm kind of interested. Dude, Regali, good night, man. Message me, man. I miss you. I hope you know that I'm always sending you positive vibe, my boy, wherever you go. Wherever you go. But good night. Mwah. Love you. All right, let's get back to it. I will look into that. I will look into that to see what game they were playing. But maybe that seems like a game likely to what you face to play. All right, there is currently much research on the health benefits of mindfulness. Yes, do it. It's super good for you. Mindfulness is great. Oh my god, thanks for the rose, Regali. Didn't need to do that, baby. Thank you for the rose. I'm not gonna lie, that's my first gift ever on the talk. Thanks, Regali. Thank you. That's so funny. Okay. And because both in video games and in mindfulness attention is essential, specific video games have also been developed for the study of mindfulness. Okay, I read that. I read that. My bad. My bad. I'm going backwards. I got excited for the rose. I guess I'm a content creator now, boys. Let's go. Okay, video games consumption in Spain. The pandemic boosted the digitalization process, consolidating the video game industry as a widespread consumer good and consequently placing Spain in the top 100, in top 10 worldwide in the sector in terms of market size. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I might have had one of the most depressing conversations ever with an up and coming first year sports psychology student. Okay, it was so depressing because like I remember what it was like to be him, to be like right after school or getting into something that you really thought was going to be cool and it was going to be like niche and it was going to like explode. And he was asking all the questions of like, you know, what type of like interventions do you have, or like what kind of effects do you work with on teams, or like how successful were you? And I was like, okay, like okay, that's all really good questions. But I'm gonna give you the same spiel that I give everyone who like tries to get into esports. Joanne knows this. Like, I basically told him like, make sure esports is not your main thing, because if it's your main thing, it's really really risky because you may not get a job, or you may be getting paid like 50, 60 or 70K for working 40 plus hours a week. And he's like, what? So I guess like he also got really really excited because he was getting some like offers for some internships to do like gaming stuff. And I said, that's really cool, man. That's really awesome. By the way, do you like traditional sports? And he goes, what do you mean? And I was like, okay, do you like traditional sports? Because like if you don't like traditional sports, your sports psychology degree is going to be for traditional sport athletes or like performance stuff. So is that really what you want to do? And he goes, oh, kind of. I'm not sure. I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, the reason why like I can eat right now is because I have a clinical practice, and my clinical practice allows me to do my passion, which is esports. So unless you don't want to work with traditional sport athletes, the degree you're getting may not be something that you want. He's like, oh, well, I think I want to work with military and stuff. I was like, okay, wait. Do you like the military? He's like, well, you know, I have some family members. Like, hey, so military is like a whole different type of psychology with performance and stuff. So just make sure that you have a backup plan, you know, or just make sure that you have like something that you can eat off of. And I think it was really sad because like I remember what it was like to be him. And like I remember my mentor at the time when I was coming into esports, he told me the same thing. And I said, I'm going to be different. Don't worry, I'm going to make it. Yeah, esports is hard. The thing that I think was really, really funny was like, as I was telling him this, I was like, just make sure that this is a passion thing for you, because we want passionate people in esports, not people that are like, I need money, you know? So as long as you know what you're doing and why you're doing it, like that's the most important thing that I can let you know how to do. Uh, but the reason I'm bringing this up is because it bringing a pandemic, and bro, pandemic was the best for gaming. It was so awesome, but unlucky, pandemic is not here anymore, and people don't really want to pay for these types of services. Because I think that was another doomer that I kind of gave him, was like, okay, how much do you want to charge, dude? And he goes, $50. It's like, okay, good. You want to charge $50, and I'm saying that your services are good, or worth $50. Listen though, people would rather pay $20, $10 to $15 for an hour with a League of Legends coach or their game coach to go over game stuff. And so that's like 2 sessions and some change for your one. And I'm not saying mental performance or what you bring to the table isn't useful. I'm definitely saying that it is. At the same time, people may not want to pay for it. And he's like, what? I was like, yes, they may not want to pay for it. So that's still their challenging thing. And also, I think the folly, the shitty thing of being like a mental health professional is like sometimes they people, I don't think people in general know how like psychology works or how much work goes into psychology and stuff like that. So what I mean by that is like you may get hired by like a coach or a manager or whatever, but if you get hired by the manager, the coach may not want to work with you, or the first step that you need to step into, or the first hurdle you need to get over is like, I can help you. These are things that I can do to help you. Sometimes people don't really want to work with you because they've been by themselves in isolation playing this game. And so when you come to like, I can help you, they're like, dude, I don't need you. I've been doing all this by myself. So how can you help me? Or what's your rank? Or these kinds of things that kind of prevent you from doing the work. And so he said, wait, why don't they want your help? Can't you help them? I'm like, yes, I can help them. I have the skills, I have the abilities, I have the training to help them. But if they do not want the help, they don't think they need the help, or like someone hired you for a job that's not really what you can do, you're kind of screwed. But in my clinical practice, I don't need to convince anyone that I can help them. Like that I don't need to jump that hurdle. But in esports, I need to jump it all the time. So it is a little bit soul sucking in that sense of like you have to convince people that you can help them. But it is rewarding when people want to work with you and are willing to work with you and putting in like, you know, the efforts to work. So I think that was another thing. He's like, well, how much effectiveness can you have with a team? And I said, well, it just depends on how much effectiveness they want. Because if I create a plan and do things, but they don't want to do it, or I don't create a relationship, it's not going to work. Because the biggest thing with therapy and coaching is match. Like that is the biggest thing. So if I can match you or whatever, you like me or think I can help you, then we're going to do really good work. But as soon as you don't think I can help, you don't want the help, it ain't gonna work, no matter how good I am. So I may be a really good psychologist, but I may not be a really good psychologist for you. But yeah, just to watch his little face like die inside, I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm just giving you the realist talk right now, and I'm not sure if this is what you wanted. And then he went back to the, okay, so like, how do you help players? Oh man, that was funny. But I remember what it was like. Um, This reminds me of the situation with the sports psychologist and Ted Lasso. Yes, the head coach didn't believe in psychology, and the psychologist has to prove their value. Yes, absolutely. Um, that is kind of it too. Absolutely. But it was the reason why it worked out so well in Ted Lasso is because Ted actually built a relationship with the psychologist, and there was trust in there too. Yeah. I think. Side note: the greatest compliment I ever got in my career as a psychologist thus far was when I went to go work overseas with OG, and they're like, do you know anything about CSGO? I'm like, nope, I know psychology, I know games, I know you guys, but CSGO is not something I know really well. And so I was like asking all these different questions. I was really learning the game on the fly or with them like live, asking them why they put smokes here, what they're thinking about, like, because if I can understand what they're thinking about, what they're looking for, then we can kind of like do work of how to like learn the cues and behaviors and all these kinds of things, right? And communication. And so that was the greatest compliment. They're like, dude, you're like the Ted Lasso of CSGO. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, you have no idea about CSGO, but you're actually like helping and like you're doing like we understand what you're saying. And I was like, that wow. I didn't understand because I didn't have Apple whatever at the time, so I didn't actually watch Ted Lasso before this. But when they told me that, I was like, oh wow. I watched it and I was like, that is actually the greatest compliment someone could have given me. You're the Ted Lasso of CS:GO. That was so funny. But I digress. This is exactly why we do the stream. Have fun stories. Okay. All right, where were we? We're talking about pandemic. Okay. According to the 2022 yearbook, oh my god, by the way, I just found out my dog is 6. My dog's 6. I can't believe my dog is 6. It's such a great show. Yes, dude, honestly, if you haven't watched Ted Lasso, go watch it. But here's the thing, I'm so scared for the rebooted season. Because it just ended so well. It ended so well. It was so great. And I'm scared they're going to ruin it. We love a good reality check. Yes, we love a good reality check. We love a good come to sensei moment, right? This is what it is. I'm just explaining. I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm just putting all the hurdles in front of you because I want you to be able to make conscious, informed decisions about your future and what you want to do with your future. That's the most important thing for me, you know? But we need that young blood. Listen, esports is a young person's thing. Okay? And what I mean by that is, dude, I'm just gonna I guess this is just a rant now. Okay, esports is just such a like a young person's thing. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is like when you just finish school or when you just finish like when you really get into it, especially if you're single, right? Like you can have the time to dedicate to your craft, to learning the game, to understanding the problems, to like thinking of interventions, of thinking of relation management. Like you can think of all these things. And also, like if they want you to be on site, you can totally be on site because like the only person that you really have to answer to is like yourself, right? But as soon as you maybe want to think about settling down, maybe you want to start a family, maybe you want to do other stuff, like esports is really challenging because like it's still very, very demanding. And the pay isn't always as good as it should be. You know what I mean? So you're doing a lot of work. It's very fulfilling, especially if like you're into gaming and stuff. At the same time, it costs you other things in your life because it's always on. Like there's always games, there's always things to learn, there's always relationships to manage. So you have to give something up. But when you get older and your priorities or your values shift, it's hard to balance both. You know, it's very hard or it's more challenging. Um, do you think we're too young for it now? Just depends of where your priorities are. You know, like it may not be too unk because I think with age and experience we have a lot to bring to the table. You know what I mean? And I think it's cool that we still get to relate to youth and we have something to teach them because let's be real, they need to be taught some things, especially by us millennials. I feel like of how to hold hands, how to be good partners or teammates, how to use their words, especially, and how to speak into full sentences to express themselves. I think that's where we come into play. I guess the other unk rant would be everything is relational in esports. If you think about it, like I think that's a really big challenge where like sports psychologists will come at it from like a performance based thing, like they'll come at it from this is what you need to eat, this is how you need to work out, these are the things that you need to do to perform with your body. What I think players actually really need and what I think teams actually really need is a psychologist who can work on the relationships within the team. And here's the thing. When I say relationships within the team, there are many relationships. Let's start with the easiest one. The relationship between you and your character or you and the game. Okay? So when I say you and your character or, your avatar in the game, like they have specific wants, they have specific needs, they are created to do a specific thing or play the game in a specific way. So if you have a good relationship with your character, you understand these things, you know what they want, you know what they don't want, their strengths, weaknesses, etc. You know how to put them in certain situations to succeed, and then on the other hand, you know what not to do to not have a bad time, right? So from a different perspective, you're playing this game through their eyes, through them. So it's important that you understand them to have a good time. Then another relationship that you need to manage is like the relationship with your game. How do you want to train? How do you think about it? How do you relate to it? What's the value that it brings to you? Is it an abusive relationship? Is it a symbiotic relationship? Is it a healthy relationship? Like these are all ways that you can use to describe how you interact with this thing on the daily. Then from there, it's the relationship between you and your teammates. It, let's be real, gaming is not a like competitive gaming most of the time is not a single player game, right? So it is how can you be in relationship with the people around you, how can you communicate your thoughts, your needs, your wants to everybody around you, and then how do you agree to play the same game or see the same game from different perspectives but still being able to accomplish your goals. So there's that relationship. And then, of course, the one with your coach. Are you able to be coached, understand what they're saying, communicate your ideas, build off their ideas? Like, that's another relationship, right? So from my perspective, psychologists in gaming really need to massage, create, understand, build maintain these types of relationships with players. Because listen, even if players just do the basics, go walking for 30 minutes a day, look at a vegetable. I mean, get to the gym. Sure, these are all great things. But what really screws up players is not their body most of the time. It's the relationships with things. And it's easier, from my perspective, to fix a body, okay? Like, it's easier, like, to do these arm exercises, and you'll play without pain. That's easy. You just gotta do the exercises. But what's more challenging? Being in relationship and working on relationships and maintaining your relationships or healthy relationships around the game. That's challenging. And it takes more work, in my opinion. But I digress. It's harder to actually do that work also, because it takes someone to be willing to actually go through the process versus I'm just going to go to the gym and work out. Or I'm going to eat the apple and I'm healthy now. It's more challenging. I'm not saying that it's not challenging. I'm just saying I think the relationship management is more challenging. But that's just me. All right. That's my rant. What is the Lissa Liu equivalent to esports? What do you mean, the Lissa Liu, the having fun and enjoying yourself, or like expecting that it's going to be challenging, or are you talking about the return Alyssa Liu? Because there's a lot of Alyssa Liuing going on in esports, I guess. By the way, I hope you're living at large in Texas, my friend. All right. Exactly. It was just a funsy question. Yeah, dude. I mean, I feel like Griffin was like the Alicilio, low-key. I haven't touched games for more than a total of 6 hours since I got into internship. Oh my god. Dang, you've changed, girl. You've changed. You've changed. I know, I really haven't been playing either. I've just been reading and stuff like that, because life has gotten to me. Life's gotten to me. But I will play tonight. I mean, I've been playing my other game, but not like League or anything. I'm really rusty. I still play HOTS. HOTS is the shit. No clients today, so I have time to sit. Nice. Nice, too. That's good. I'm glad you get to sit. Sit and enjoy. That is what internship's all about. Because after that, it's postdoc. If you want to do that, you're working more. So you might as well enjoy it. Alright. I guess we're here. Okay. 2,012 million euros were invoiced by this section of audiovisual and cultural leisure, representing 12.09% more than the previous year. Man. Okay. With regard to the sale type, the general trend over the last decade has been positive for both physical and online channels, especially for the latter, which in 2020 managed to surpass its predecessor in sales. All right, the challenge thing I think in esports is that people like, it's making so much money. Yeah, I mean, it is making so much money, but who is making the money? That's the more interesting thing too. It's not always support staff and people. It's more like the players and coaches and CEOs and owners and stuff like that. I digress. All right, an important section within this industry is the way of consuming video games, focusing on the different devices used on one hand and on the other on the time of use. Currently, the most common used devices in Spain are desktop consoles with 29%, followed closely by the smartphone. Dude, honestly, people don't understand that if you're playing games on your smartphone, 26%, you're a gamer. Everyone games. It just depends of what your game looks like. For example, is it League of Legends? Is it Clash Royale? I know my wife loves this matching game on her like iPad, so it really just depends what type of gaming you like to play. Everyone's a gamer. Everyone's a gamer. They just don't think they are. This is followed by the computer with 22%. Wait, what's the difference between desktop consoles? Oh, I guess that's like a console, my dad, versus this computer. Okay. 22%. And the tablet with 14%. Bro, Roblox is crazy. I was talking to some people about Roblox and what it is. Crazy. Okay. And the portable console, 9%. Dude. Back in the day with the link cable and the Game Boy. Damn. Alright. The average time spent now playing games per week stands at 7.42 hours. Dang, representing a slight decrease compared to the previous year, when the highest figure recorded to date in Spain was 8.1 hours. I feel like I need to get what's-your-face buttons to make noises, but I digress. In the combination between time spent per week and device use, consoles top the ranking with 4.93 hours, with men being predominantly 66%, which means that at least 40% of women are playing games on console. Crazy. Those who use this method the most. Equal percentages of women and men use smartphones and tablets, 4.37 hours, and finally the computer gets 3.84 hours, this time with a higher percentage of women, because they have more money, let's be real. 72%. The frequency with which games are played is another parameter to take into account. 72% of gamers say they play every week, representing some 13.1 million people in Spain. Another 18% play at least once a month, and the remaining percentage plays sporadically. Dude, everyone loves games. Everyone loves games. Who will love games? Another relevant issue is the player profile. According to the statistics collected, there are games of all ages obtaining data between 6 and 64 years of age. Damn. I guess another question that I'm thinking about now, because I'm leaning into child development, would be, what's a good time to start your kid playing games? You know? Like, how do you create a prodigy? Like, if I have a kid, do I start him at 6 to make him the next Faker? You know what I mean? Or like, do I have to introduce him to other games first and then play games? I don't know, man. During 2022, of the 18.2 million people who confirmed themselves as video gamers in Spain, it is still mainly adolescents, with 84% of the population between 11 and 14 years of age who consume the most video games. You know why? Because they have time to do so, baby. For sure. They have time to do so. A significant increase is seen in childhood, with 79% of children between 6 and 11 years of age playing video games. Young people between 15 and 24 years old maintain their numbers at 71%, while the older age group are gaining more and more followers every year, accounting for 60% between 25 and 34 years old, 42%, between 35 and 44 years old, 31%, and between 45 and 64 years old. Huh? So I'm kind of impressed, not gonna lie. I thought it would be less than that. Start them off on the 8-bit stuff, and they'll get fancier consoles each development milestone. Yo, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Here's a Game Boy. What is this? Enjoy. Dude, can you imagine them unwrapping like their tower, their first PC? Oh my god. I remember what it was like to get my N64. That thing was awesome. I remember just getting it was like, we opened it on Christmas. My uncle got it for us. And he just gave me the small box, which was the controller. And he made me open it first. I was like, what is this? I don't have an N64. And then my sister got the bigger box and that she got to open it. I'm like, oh, it was so great. Best Christmas ever. Best Christmas ever. I remember. That was a very canon memory. Like just opening it up, being like, oh my god, I don't have this. What is that? Ah! My little DS Lite was life-changing and solidified my gamer brain. Dude, DS Lite, ugh, man. Do you still, okay, here's the thing. When you think of it, can you still hear the turn on noise, like when it boots up, like link? Like, can you hear it? That's how you know. That's how you know. All right. In reference to the device chosen by each age group, it is worth noting that 62% of gamers between 6 and 8 years of age prefer to use desktop consoles, as do 76% of gamers between 11 and 14 years of age. Gamers between 15 and 24 years of age choose indistinctively. 49% both smartphone and desktop consoles. The same is true for the 25 to 34 age group, but the percentage is reduced to 34% for both devices. I think, honestly, the reason why those statistics are there is because, like, it's what you have available to game with at that age, probably, and what you're limited to. I do not, but I vividly remember the startup screen. Yeah, good times. Good times. Did you ever do the, oh my god, mom's coming, shove it under your pillow? Or were you like a gamer, older by the time you got that? Smartphone prevails at 24% for those aged 35 to 44, because we got jobs and stuff, bro. We got jobs. And finally, the 45 to 64 age group breaks the trend as their most used devices are smartphones. Dude, you see my mom with Tsum Tsum. She goes crazy on her smartphone, bro. She goes bananas on that thing. It's funny because my mom is totally addicted to Tsum Tsums because she definitely deleted that app like 4 times, but it's still on her phone and she plays it still. I love it. So again, we're all gamers, bro. We're all gamers. And finally, the 45 to 64. Yep. Okay. By gender, the number of women playing video games is increasingly similar to that of men, reaching the highest percentage in Spain in 2021 with 48%. In figures, this means 88.6 million female gamers out of a total 18.1 million. Let's go, girls. Let's go. Let's go. Nah, I def had to hide it. I think I had to go mostly hide my PS. Dude, you had a PSP? Sorry, bro. You're balling. I remember when that thing came out. That thing was money. If anyone remembers that hunk of metal, of course. Okay, the question is, did you have the iconic game known as Worms for the PSP? That was piece de resistance. Lol, it was a hand-me-down? Sorry, bro. I didn't know you had hand-me-down or not. You still got that piece of amazing equipment. Amazing equipment. Is ahead of its time. Ahead of its time. Generational gamer wealth or whatever, I guess. Dude, that's so lucky. That's so lucky. You know what we call that? Bro, privilege. You had that gaming privilege, yo. Alright, finally, according to the number of... I don't even remember what I played on it. That's how... Wow. That's how irrelevant it was? Bro, look at this. Look at this girl flexing her privilege. I don't even... I had it, but I don't even remember what I played on it because it was just whatever. I have other things to play. But the PSP, ugh. Whatever. Remember that hunk of metal? Ugh. Remember that little thing? And over here, I'm like, oh my god, what would it be like to play Worms on the PSP? What would it be like to play Madden football on a PSP? I wonder. I'll just watch my friends. Jerk. Was too busy farming on Maple Story. Dude, I couldn't even play Maple Story on dial-up at school. This is sad. So sad. Oh, good times. Holy shit, good times. Alright, finally, according to the number of sales, it should be emphasized which genres are preferred by Spanish population today. Leading the ranking is 1,786,554. I'm gonna pat myself on the back for that number read. That was good. Units is action followed by role-playing games, which is 1,449,099, and sports games with 1,001,114.50. Adventure with more than half the sales of previous ones, followed by FPS or shooter and strategy with around 500,000 units each. And closing lists are family games with 280. Whoa, what the heck? Oh, 280, 313, and 68,253 for casual arcade games. Okay, cool. Games. Okay. Alright, I have something at 2. Something at 2, so I have to just be mindful. Okay, scientific research on video games is sometimes contradictory, presenting both favorable and unfavorable results. I mean, it just depends what we're looking for. This may be partly due to the high overload of cognitive abilities required by various genres of video games, as they seem to demand a paradigm shift in how cognitive neuroscience examines their impact. Be that as it may, the current scientific production on the psychosocial effects of video games is high. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really interesting because there's just so many things you're doing in your brain. That's why people think they can play all day, but they can't, because you get tired. And just because you're using fine motor and your brain doesn't mean that you don't fatigue. I mean, you just fatigue at a different rate than if you were like use gross body or work out a lot or run a lot. You get tired. Flat out. Period. The literature on favorable effects has been classified into 4 blocks. Ooh, 4 blocks. Stimulation of psychological skills, emotional management, social skills, and aspects associated with well-being. Dude, this emotional management, I mean, they said that before, and like, I think indirectly, right? It teaches you how to manage your emotions, but it's not like this is how you manage your emotions. It's like a byproduct of if you want to get good at your games, you just need to practice or understand how to be more emotionally congruent. But I'm not sure if it's like play video games, be more emotional, or be more able to manage your emotions. I'm not sure if that works out that way. Okay, in relation to the first block, some studies indicate that video games can favor executive function in general, or some of the executive functions in particular, such as working memory, decision making, or self control. I can see that. I mean, if you can like manage your impulses, you're gonna be super good at video games. I think the hardest thing and the number one thing that players struggle with in games is impulse control. Also, I believe a large majority of gamers have or are undiagnosed with ADHD, and as a hallmark of that diagnosis, impulses is hard. Be would be. That's why it is so important for gamers to practice mindfulness, so they can actually like practice the emotional regulation and the impulse control to focus on the breath or the thoughts or the lack thereof thoughts. But it's boring. It's so boring, and I get it. Very useful. Very boring. Likewise, video games can stimulate self-confidence. Yes, they can. Motivation, intelligence, and creativity. Furthermore, action games in particular seem to foster the ability to focus on visual details and make correct decisions under pressure. Interessante. Okay. 2 aspects within this first block on positive psychological skills, also linked to executive functioning, deserve special consideration. Attention and cognitive flexibility. Yes. Yes. Cognitive flexibility, this is also known as creativity. This is your ability to think out of the box or put things together. But yeah, huge. Okay, in relation to the latter aspect, these studies that mention this effect through commercial video games. Okay, let me look at something really quick. I gotta double check if my client gonna come. Giggity. See you soon. Sorry for gaps. Okay. By the way, Joanne, are you still into like esports and gaming? Is that something you still want to do? Are you still interested in it, or are you moving more clinical now? All right. Okay. Or in those used as training with the aim of improving some cognitive abilities. Regarding the item of attention, there are several studies that show benefits in this ability due to video games. There are also papers that focus attentional gain on shooter or action video games, as well as studies confirming the attention improves significantly due to video games compared to other cognitive processes, or explain that the player's attention improvement as a learning curve in new video games. I mean, if you're paying attention, of course you're going to learn. It just matters of what you're paying attention to. I mean, I was trying to explain this concept to somebody playing League of Legends where they're trying to use their minimap more. And what I was trying to explain to them was like, because they asked like, how do I use the minimap more? How do I look at the map at more to make better decisions? And I said, okay, well, how are you using it? And he goes, well, I'm trying to look at it like every minute. I'm like, okay, well, like what's the purpose of the minimap? Well, I want to see where my players are and their health and stuff like that. I was like, okay, cool. How often are you trying to look at that to assess your decisions? He's like, I don't. That's why I don't look at my minimap. I'm like, okay, If you want to just look at the minimap, sure, there's a behavior of just looking at the minimap. But the problem with that is you're forgetting to look at the minimap because you're not looking for the minimap for information. You're looking at the minimap because you're reminding yourself to look at the minimap. But if you really want to look at your minimap, you have to understand what you're looking for, how you're using it, what's the mindset around it. Then your eyes will naturally go to it because you're looking for that type of information. But the thing that might also, like, there's a couple things that might get in trouble or might get this player in trouble. The first one is if they don't have a strong connection to the game or flow of the game. It's kind of like learning how to dribble a basketball where you're just focused on the basketball and not looking up because you don't want to lose control of the basketball. But as soon as you can understand where the ball is going to be, you can dribble, you can now look up to see the rest of the court because you don't need to pay attention to where the basketball is going to be because you have enough experience with that. So there could be that with the game where it's harder to pay attention or control your camera or do the F keys and then look at the mini map. So maybe there's a level of mechanics that needs to be reached before they do that, but also the mindset of what they're looking for, how they're using it, that's going to allow them to look at the mini map more. No, I've actually been meaning to talk to you about APA, but want to wait until I'm done with internship and baby sensei arrives. Also told my site my special interest is esports, and they said they'll get back to me if it's feasible. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, let's talk about APA. But holla, your boy's doing a TED Talk on esports or in gaming and psychology come September. So, it's going to be like a mini APA from last year, I think. Okay. 2 reasons why people play video games. Escapism and stress relief. There are so many. I liked an article that had 8 reasons. But these 2 reasons for sure are also associated with improvements in emotional management. I mean, that makes it interesting how they go. The esports team is on a different site, so logistics is difficult. Oh, we can talk about that. Hell yeah, slay baby. Slay. Slay, slay, slay. Okay. The escapism offered by video games can reduce stress levels after stressful activities. Okay, if this is true, we call this avoidance. This is avoidance behavior. If you're using escapism. Okay. Likewise, commercial video games are also a promising resource for coping with other negative states such as depression and anxiety. Again, we're avoiding. It's an avoidance tactic. Not great. If they can also, in this case of intensive players of violent video games, significantly reduce their verbal and physical aggression. I mean, I feel like this is like Bobo doll action right here, right? If they are just taking things out on people in the game. Which is good. I'd rather them be taking out in the game than people IRL. That's a harm reduction model, I would say. Harm reduction. In addition, video games may constitute a healthy coping strategy for some players. It is common for many to use them to avoid negative moods and induce positive ones, or as a resource to improve their emotion regulation through the game experience itself. I mean, I thought they were going to say, like, this is an active way to relieve your stress, but it's funny that they just kind of said, like, oh yeah, escape equals stress relief. Sure. Okay, we read for 4 more minutes and hang out, and then we're gonna bounce. All right. Regarding the benefits associated with social skills, they're also linked to another of the reasons why people play video games: socialization. Absolutely. Video games enable social skill development, favor positive social interaction, are associated with increased peer support and pro-social behavior, and stimulate cooperation in general. They must have not played League of Legends in their life. Dude, with this one, I am stoked to see the data with, with the chat. It's going to be bananas. I cannot wait for League chat. I cannot wait. I hope it makes people nicer, but, I've played Valorant before, and, they're not always nice in voice chat. All right, the last block of favorable effects associated with well-being is also linked to another motive explaining their use: entertainment, achievement, and fun. Okay, fair. Online video games constitute a very rewarding experience due to social interactions, an aspect that may be an aspect that may be associated with video games being slightly but favorably correlated with effective well-being. This technological amusement constitutes a useful resource for generating well-being or subjective well-being, and may enhance psychological well-being by teaching skills associated with happiness and life satisfaction. Okay, it just depends on what you're playing for. Like, yes, all these things, when it comes down to gamer motivation and why people play games, like, the most important thing to think about is, like, why? Because if there's a purpose of why someone's playing a game, all right, now they're intentionally setting that intention of what they want to get out of the experience. So it just really depends, because I think where the positive or negative things of video games comes from is how you use it, right? For example, a sword is not good or bad. A sword is good or bad depending on how you use it. Like, if you're using it to defend yourself, fine. But if you're going out to murder somebody, bad, right? In the same way, that's kind of how video games work too. If you're going to try to use it to escape, may not be the best. But if you're trying to use it to socialize with your friends, that's probably better. What the difference is, though, is you're saying that intention of what you want to get out of that experience. That's the most important thing. So, I guess for you as a gamer, what are you trying to get out of the game? Okay. So, I guess before that, rent. This is day one. This is day one. So, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to put some takeaways. All right. This is what happens when I'm late to my own stream, bro. This is what happens when I'm late to my own stream. All right. So, takeaways for today. Number 1. What? Oh. Okay. The first takeaway from this, simply, what are you playing for? All right. And what I mean by that is, like, the purpose sets the intention, or the purpose dictates the function. Okay. Okay. Intention influences experience. Okay? So, if you actually want your video games to help you with emotion regulation, with impulse control, with socialization, with fun, it's really important that you set that in your head of, this is what I want to get out of this experience. This is what I'm training for. This is what I want to do. Like, if you can set that purpose, you're probably going to get that thing back. If you have that intention of working on a specific skill, you're probably going to get that. If your intention is just to win, you're probably going to get tilted because it's a multiplayer game. But the most important thing thus far, I went on some rants today, but the one thing from these paragraphs is set your intention, set your purpose, because if not, you may use video games for something else, for avoidance, for escapism, for something that's not as healthy as what games could be. Okay? And number 2, I guess the second takeaway for our bounce is, listen, everyone's a gamer. Whether you play it on your computer, or you play it on your iPhone, iPhone, if you play it on your computer, on a console, on an iPhone, or just your phone, on an iPad, a tablet, listen, you're probably a gamer, and you probably like the game that you play. So if everyone's a gamer, embrace it. that's something cool that we all have in common that we can build relationships off of, we can have conversations about, or we can use to learn and better our own lives. So just because someone plays a game, my suggestion is be curious. What do they like to play? Because it's not about what they play, but if you can connect with them about what they play for, what they like about the game, what drew them to the game, what's the community, what they get out of the game. Listen, now we're creating relationships. Now we're talking. Now we're doing something, and the game is just a medium in which we connect. But as soon as we enter judgment, it cuts off our curiosity. It stops those relationship buildings, and it really just prevents us from being humans with each other. But if we're all gamers, let's all unite. Let's have some fun. Let's see how we can use games to better our lives instead of splitting us apart or making us do things that we don't want to do or say or whatever. So embrace the game. Be a gamer. Bond with your fellow gamers. And try not to flame us too much. We're all just trying to get along. We're all just trying to get by. And remember, hurt people hurt people. All right. All right, that is it. I am so sorry. I thought I would have more time today, but I just didn't, and I was too busy trying to fix the TikToks and stuff like that. But you know what? We got it, and we were able to hang out with Joanne via TikTok. So shout out to you, Joanne, and shout out to you as always, Jeeps. Thanks for coming in and hanging out with us to go over this article. We will talk about it more next week, and yeah, we'll just kick it from there. Have a good session. Thank you. Yep, I gotta go session now. So if you want to learn more about me, if you want to hang out, please fill out a free consultation form at my website, psychsensei.com, so we can hang out. Or maybe I'll get my Discord back, my original one. We'll see. But right now, you can message me on X at @thepsychsensei. All right, friends. Take it easy. Love you. Have a good weekend. Remember, stronger mental wins. Pieces. Love you. Mwah! Bye! As always, shout out to you, Joanne. Thanks for coming via TikTok. Shout out to you, my friend Jeeves. Thanks for coming to hang out and eat lunch with me. I'll be back Monday, 12:30 p.m. Yeah. And then also, I've been editing a lot, so hopefully there'll be more shit on my Instagram and TikTok and stuff. All right, friends. Take it easy. Pieces. Love ya.